Welcome to the Cinefresh YouTube channel. Today we are joined by Godisamang. Godisamang, how do I pronounce your surname?
Khunou.
Khunou. Yes, Khunou. Yes. Godisamang Khunou, who recently won the Best Feature Film for her film Black Women and Sex at the American Black Film Festival. I've been calling it the Black American Film Festival for the longest time. Probably my editor probably read my diary and was like, what is that? Anyhow, congratulations.
Thank you.
We actually had a conversation about the film before you left, and I remember you mentioned, Guti, your aunts were so worried that you were going to embarrass your family with your film about sex.
Yeah.
How proud are they now that you won the award?
Actually, the one who had a problem recently passed away by her precious soul, rest in peace. God sent her the horror of this film being out of the world. I'm joking. Very precious soul, rest in peace. But she had a serious problem with it. But the family is proud. It's so funny how people, are coming back and everyone is just like so happy. But I think it's just how humans are, when before you do something, before they see the intention and they see others celebrating you, then it's hard to kind of support in that moment. Yeah,
that's why we shouldn't work it until we've tried it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I know that we spoke about the film, we spoke about intimacy, the meaning of intimacy, we spoke about masturbation, we spoke about sexual assault and how women who are about to get married are advised not to deny their husband sex, etc., etc. But can you just take me through the full program? Because I know that when we discussed it, you were speaking to me from a perspective of all the material and just the developmental process of the film.
Okay, so the actual film follows three very unique women. Iris Kayengu, she's from Zambia, so she's a child of a politician. Her father's a two-time politician in Zambia, and
is he like a prominent politician?
Prominent. He was the Minister of Education, Minister of Cultural Affairs. He has hospitals. He built hospitals.
You guys were like a community of women who are embarrassing families.
And no, she had a sex tape come out.
Whoa.
Leaked. She had this video taken with her boyfriend. She was very young. She was 21 at the time, and they made this video, and this guy went for repairs to repair his laptop, and the guy who repairs the laptop, the technician, is the one who leaked the video.
Guys, stop making sex tapes.
Or at least delete them, but don't make them. Don't make them. If you don't want to delete it, don't make them.
I don't know, blur your face or something.
But that's besides the point. That's not what the film is about. It's about how unforgiving society is, especially where black women are concerned.
Yeah.
Right now, nobody knows who this guy is. Nobody who cares. No, not the technician, the boyfriend who is also on the tape.
No, I mean, nobody knows who the nobody knows who the boyfriend
The boyfriend is on the tape.
Because everything is just, this lady made a sex tape.
Exactly.
It's not this couple made a sex tape.
And the only reason it got the attention it got is because of Iris's father. Because Iris's father is a prominent politician, right? And she went on, I mean, she was 21, she was very young, and I'm not excusing it, but I do know that all of us do some crazy, stupid ass things when you're young, probably not a sex tape, but, there's a lot of things that you thank God that, they're not on camera today, And,
True.
yeah, and the whole journey of her in the film is just like, forget about it, like, this is 10 years later. She has in these 10 years she has built a profile for herself as a philanthropist. She had to go to prison because porn is illegal in Zambia.
But the boyfriend didn't have to go to jail. Being a black woman.
Exactly. So she had to go to jail. She spent a couple of days in jail, and in that time she met mothers who were struggling with their kids because they were in jail. And in this time, she's raised money to take care of their kids, like the women in prison. Make sure these kids get an education. She's done incredible things for the tourism in Zambia. And she was trying to run for office.
But that's the thing about black women. Even in that difficult position that she found herself in, these women managed to become a community and to support each other.
Exactly. And she was talking about how she was so scared when she walked into jail. Like, and then these women are like, what are you scared of? Like, what do you think we're gonna do to you? We're not gonna eat you. Like, what do you think we're gonna do to you? You know, like, relax. And as soon and just like a testament to, like, stop judging and just, like, relax and hear people out. And yeah, that's kind of the common thread in the film. In South Africa, we have a transgender woman, so we followed her all of these years from 2018 to 2023, and we've seen the transitions in these years, the transitions in her body, in her personality, like coming into herself, and just like the bravery to be who you are. I think it's not a uniquely trans story. I think everybody goes through a process of becoming, you know, whether you are dreaming of something, you know, and you have the bravery and the perseverance to see it through, you know, and to know who you are and stand by it. And then in Nigeria, we have a woman who was from a polygamous marriage, had a horrible childhood because of the polygamy.
Is that the lady when we discussed the film a few weeks ago, she then lost all interest in sex?
Yes. She lost all interest in sex because she was sexually abused growing up. And then she healed through it. She's a very religious woman, and she used religion as a way to heal, and she has an incredible husband and an incredible family. And it was such a beautiful thing to witness. I think we don't see a lot of romance for Black women.
Nope.
We don't see a lot of love, like people, someone carrying you through a difficult time, you know.
When you say that, it makes me think of Casey just now with the whole Diddy case, where people are saying, oh, her husband this, her husband that, and he's just like, please don't disrespect my wife's strength.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw that. He's like, she got herself out of this.
She wasn't some damsel in distress that I had to say.
I had to come in and say. And I think it's a beautiful and also empowering thing to say, you can get yourself out of it, you know, and come out of the other side, have love and, you know, have a future. I think that's the point of surviving. When we talk about survivors of gender-based violence, it's not just about getting out, but like getting out and finding happiness again and believing in love again. I think is a beautiful testament.
While we are on the subject of Black women and sex and just judgment and all of those kind of things, there's a perception that sex is just penetrative, right? And my God, I say this all the time, and so do gynecologists. Clitoral orgasms are much more intense than penetrative orgasms. But those are some of the things that I feel like as Black women, we don't really talk about. We don't talk about the fact that there are a lot of things to explore sexually before you even get to the penetration part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think... Okay, how would you describe a Black woman's relationship with sex, actually?
Ooh, I'm not an expert with Black women.
We are not experts. These are just
I'm not a sexual
unprofessional
therapist.
opinions.
I mean, I got into the film because of my curiosity for sex. I think I was very young when I started Black Women and Sex. I was right in the middle of my 25, like trying to explore and figure out all of this. But I think our relationship with sex is very lonely because of the secrecy connected to talking about.
It's not even secrecy. It's shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame, like you are perceived as a certain type of woman when you talk about sex. You're perceived as very like, hey, you're outside, hey, like, oh yeah, and you don't respect yourself, and you know it's not a respectable woman thing to talk about. And in the film,
unladylike.
In the film, we had this beautiful experience because we went to church. We went to church
with the Nigerian lady. And church ladies, the conservative ladies with the marriage and the, talking about sex was really, really nice to see. And liberating.
And liberating, exactly. And just to kind of drive home the fact that this is not one woman's conversation, it's for everyone. And I think because we're not raised in a way where we were able to talk about sex freely and able to understand sex, then I feel like one, it leaves a lot of room for abuse, because if abuse does happen, you're already not talking about it. So you're definitely not going to talk about a difficult thing like sexual abuse. And two, you are missing out on so much because, you know, life is for the living. You know what I mean? Life is for the living.
You know,
okay?
there's actually this discourse that's been going on social media. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there's just this discourse around. There's a lady who apparently started it. She's in her 30s. She's, I think, 22, and then she's talking about how if you are sleeping around, you don't love yourself, and I feel like there's a disconnect there, because you are not either in a committed relationship where you live with someone, or you are sleeping around. You could be in a committed relationship where you guys are not living together. You could be celibate. You could be having not even a relationship, but a sex partner who is just one person. I feel like we are missing the fact that sex is not grey and white.
Yeah.
As is life.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, also these days, like situationships, you know, like sleeping with someone doesn't even mean you're like in a relationship with them.
It's just sex.
It could be just sex. It could be committed. I think there's just there are a lot of gray areas, and there are also so many definitions. I had to learn, I think, in this process of making this film, like sexual preferences, sexual identity, like, you know, like there's a difference between these things. And I learned so much, and I think that's a beautiful thing about Darkies, is having the opportunity to learn through your work.
I love the fact that we are also going to get a chance to learn from you and the experiences that you had when we get to see your film. The film is going to be screened at the National Arts Festival. Which days are you going to be at the National Arts Festival?
From the 26th of June to the 6th of July.
Yay, I'm going to get to see you.
Through the Fringe program at the National Arts Festival. I'm very, very excited.
I can't wait. But just back to that social media. One of the things that came up in that conversation is purity culture. And I know that I'm Zulu, and I know that in the Zulu culture, in some parts of Zulu culture, because not every Zulu household upholds this anymore, there is the process of Uklola Wendombi, which is virginity testing, and there's nothing wrong with maintaining that aspect of yourself if it's what you want, if you are doing it for yourself. But I wish we could get to a point where black women were able to do things for themselves. Because I remember when we spoke about the film, one of the ladies, I'm not sure which ladies it is between the three, said something along the lines of, when you get married, you also are reminded that you are now in a partnership. It's no longer just about what you want. So you can't now do things for yourself. You feel like you do not want to have sex. You're not having sex for yourself. You're having sex for the partnership. It's my body.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, what is your take on are black women doing things and making sexual decisions for ourselves? Or are we making those decisions for other people?
I think it's very important to realize the sense of agency and ownership that you have over your own body. I think choosing to share it with someone should be a choice that comes from you to say, I am choosing to do this even though I don't feel like doing it. I don't 100% don't promote like rape in relationships or in
coercion,
marriage, you know. And also with virginity, like if you want to celebrate your virginity, I mean, it's the ownership of self. Like I think a type of feminism that is not talked about enough is this conservative type of feminism where it's like you're feminist for marriage and you want to support your partner, but you're like putting in your effort to do that and your expertise and whatever, and that's also, you know, commendable. So just because it's a different type of feminism that doesn't look like the mainstream feminism doesn't make it any less than. I think it's feminism is about choice and what you choose to do with your own body. And I think the disconnect is like realizing that you do have a choice. Like you can't say no if this doesn't feel right to you.
Here's the issue with saying no. Women are getting killed. Women are getting raped. I remember, I don't personally watch Skim Sam, and I'm not ashamed. But I know that there was...
Shout out Skim Sam. I'm a baby girl.
Shout out to Skim Sam. But there was a scene last year where I think it went to court where somebody had been sexually violated, and then social media again happens where people are talking about consent. And I remember one guy said that because now women are saying that consent can be withdrawn, then Mina, what I'm going to do, when somebody gives me consent, I'm now going to record it. But then that goes back to revenge porn. Because now that you've recorded me, I now am in a position where I cannot, if I now feel like I do not want to continue doing this anymore, I can't say Angsafuni because now you've got me recorded.
That's nonsense. Consent can be withdrawn at any time. Even if you recorded it at 1:30, at 1:45, if you say no, it's still a no.
It's still a no. There's something that I like to say. A woman will say no, and a man will hear convince me. And I've got an example. This guy asked for my number once, and I said no. I did not say maybe. I did not say I would think about it. I said no. I am not going to give you my number. Does my daughter not tell me when I come back from work, Mama, the security guy downstairs was asking me for your number?
That is so insane. To ask your child after you said no.
After I said no, Mina as the parent.
That is so insane. And I mean, I remember I had this experience. I was at a film market, and someone was like hitting on me, you know. And then I was just politely. We also work in a very friendly industry. So you're just like politely declining, and just like at the end of the night, he was trying to like go back to my hotel room. And I'm just like, no.
I already said no.
But also, I get inside. After you don't come in, and I've declined this whole night, you still blow up my phone talking about, can I come, can I come, can I come? And I'm just like, would you do this to a white French woman who was also
after she
there?
said no?
Yeah. Would you go all the way to her door, blow up her phone? You haven't known this person for 24 hours. Usile. And it goes back to, it's also this thing of like being in a partnership. I've seen as a single girl, like how I'm treated within my family, within my community, within society when I'm single versus when I have a relationship. People respect you. People respect you. People don't talk but any kind of crazy, like it's this, and it's also hard like to leave abusive relationships or where you're not treated right because you know the protection you have from being a part of a partnership.
What are you even talking about? You don't even have a man.
You're like, at least you're a mother. If you don't even have a child, like you're not even a full adult. Like, please don't have an opinion. You are a child. Never mind all this life experience that you have.
Let's actually stay on that a little bit, because I think earlier on when I asked what our relationship is with sex, what you've just said now kind of takes me to a place where my mind is telling me that as a person, as a woman, as much as I would love to have ownership over my body, over my sexuality, over my person really, society is trying to tell me that you don't have that as long as there is not somebody who is sexually aligned to you. Because again, it comes back to that whole thing of people thinking and telling women that sex does not happen with us, it happens to us.